What's up, Cucks? It's your boy, the Hater, and I just wanted to say one real quick thing up in this piece. You know what I'm saying? When I started this channel, one of the earliest points I made, and I think that anyone that knows, you can go watch my old videos. You can subscribe right now. If you haven't, why aren't you subscribed to me? What is wrong with you? I'm a small channel. Help your boy grow and make some of that money. Now, that being said, maybe we'll do subscriber shoutouts soon enough. You know what I'm saying? Now, with all that being said, one of the earliest points that I made when I started my channel shortly after AEW started their company was that wrestlers are using Tony Khan, right? And how true has that proven, right? Think about it. Why would WWE invest in other things when they have AEW to scratch their sack? Think about it, right? When we had wrestling back in the day, the Attitude Era, right? There was some vetting done necessarily by scouts, right? A scout would go and would find someone that's good and they'd be like, this person's good. Let's see what we can do with them, right? But this was rare. The more likely outcome was this. You see someone in WCW, right? Let's say WCW gets 10 guys, 8 of them are good, 6 of them get pushed, 4 of them get over. Of those 4, 2 get hurt, 1 of them might become a star. Of the 10 guys you had in the beginning that are good, you now have 9 guys that WCW failed to utilize. That being said, there's also no guarantee that the one guy that won out of those 10 dudes was the real winner, right? Think like when WWE did Tough Enough and Daniel Puder won, but The Miz joined WWE and became a legend, whereas Daniel Puder didn't do anything as far as I know. I don't really give a damn, to be honest, right? So that was the strategy back then, right? It was like, why would I go and look for someone? Why would I go and train someone? Why would I go to New Japan or, Mexico Wrestling Mundial and find someone? Why would I do all these things, right? I have WCW right next to me, right? Oh, well, look at that. Eddie Guerrero? Oh, you don't want him anymore? He's unhappy with his contract, as is Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, and Benoit. They're like, okay, we can do something with Guerrero and Benoit. Why don't you throw in Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn for $15 each or something, right? We'll bring them over. We'll do something with them, right? Likewise, WCW did the same thing. Oh, Jeff Jarrett is the Intercontinental Champion? Well, why do I need to go make someone into a star? We have Jeff Jarrett. We have Dustin Rhodes. We have a bunch of wrestlers that we can just take and just maybe repackage if we want to, maybe not, right? But at least we know that they're solid, right? They're professionals to some degree. Like if you look at, let's say, William Regal, who bounced back and forth, right? He must have been a professional to some degree, right? Because they keep hiring him, right? So why in the blue hell would you go and try to find the next, I don't know, Juice Robinson when you can just get William Regal when he gets fired or decides to quit, right? And this went up all the way up the ladder, all the way up to Stone Cold, not really Stone Cold because he wasn't big when he was released by WCW, but you can think of, for example, I don't know, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Bret Hart, Macho Man, and of course, the Hulkster himself, Hulk Hogan, right? That's the way that wrestling operated. Now, when Vince McMahon bought out his competition, what happened then? I'll tell you what happened then. He had no competition, right? TNA wasn't even around yet, right? And they hadn't even grown to that level. So what did he do? He decided to make everything kind of in-house, right? It was an interesting juncture point because they got really lucky. WWE got really lucky with the crop of talent they had in what was then, OVW, right? They had Orton, they had Cena, they had Batista. They probably had other ones, but those 3 were definitely there, right? So it's like you have those guys, right? You still have The Rock, kinda. You still had Stone Cold, kinda. You had Brock Lesnar there as well, right? So you have 4, the people that I just mentioned, Orton, Cena, Lesnar, and Batista, 4 clear Hall of Famers. But then you also had these up-and-comers, right? You had people like Edge, who was like, oh, you've been putting a lot of stock on this guy, right? Okay, Cena's going to come in, Batista's going to come in. They might surpass Edge in the short term, but you knew Edge was going to be something, right? Then, what do? They're like, oh, we can sign some of our competition. Well, bring on Booker T. He was their champion. Bring on Scott Steiner. That didn't work out. What's Rey Mysterio doing, right? Oh, wait a second, we have Kurt Angle here from the Attitude Era, who's in his prime. He's not even in his prime yet, right? We have Shawn Michaels we're going to bring back. So you had this weird mix of like great incoming talent, right? And a legendary older talent or legendary up-and-coming talent that was homegrown or already famous, like Edge and Rey Mysterio, right? So why would Vince need anything for a long time? He wouldn't, right? But then reality started to sink in, right? Well, wait a second. Somehow a lot of these TNA guys are very loyal to TNA, one of the greatest things ever. Like AJ Styles didn't want to go to WWE for quite some time. Bobby Roode didn't want to go. James Storm, a lot of these guys were like, I think I'm going to stick with TNA, right? We have something here. All of a sudden, you're losing guys at TNA. I'm not saying TNA was a threat, but clearly, the whole poaching people wasn't working out very well, right? It was the other way around. So, what did WWE do? Well, I'll tell you what they did. They rebranded their developmental into NXT, where the purpose was to create new stars, right? Now, that costs a lot of money, right? You have to pay a lot of people a salary of, let's say they make $60,000, $70,000 a year. That's a lot of money to pay Kit Wilson, or whatever his name is, from Pretty Deadly. That's a lot of money to pay, not Otis, but remember Otis's partner? I think his name was Tucker Knight. It's a lot of money to pay Tucker Knight, right? Like, you're not going to get a return on that money. You're not going to get a return from fucking, what's his name, Duke Hudson, or the other guy from Chase U, the main guy, Andre Chase. You're not going to get a return. Like, nobody's going to care enough for Andre Chase to justify getting paid, let's say, $100,000 a year. Absolutely not. It's never going to happen, right? You're not going to get a return from these jobbers because nobody cares about them. So that sucks. But you have to do it, right? You have to cast a wide net. You have to hire like 100 people. You have to hire like 25 people every few months and then hope that one of them becomes somebody. You know that 24 of them are going to be complete jobbers, right? Like, it's like, do you really think that a Lyra Valkyrie is going to be anything more than a Zoe Stark? Like, who cares? You know what I mean? I don't even know who Lyra Valkyrie is, but that tells me all I need to know. So, and even if she becomes the next, champions don't mean anything in the women's division, right? Is she going to become the next Charlotte or Trish Stratus? That's really all I'm interested in. Is she going to become the next Becky Lynch? If it's not going to be one of those, if she's going to be another Bianca Belair, I don't care at all. So with that being said, cuckolds, let's put it in perspective, right? What would benefit WWE the most? Well, what if another company comes along that tries to, quote unquote, compete with WWE and they provide the same environment, right, that WCW provided or that WWE provided to WCW or vice versa? It doesn't matter how you look at it, right? Wow, what a godsend that is, right? Well, if you're Vince McMahon, maybe you're thinking, well, that Cody Rhodes guy, I mean, I never really saw it. He's kind of like a jobber, but I hear that he's doing a program with Shaquille O'Neal, right? So you're Vince McMahon and you're watching this, you're like, oh, Shaq. Well, I know Shaq. We wanted Shaq to wrestle Big Show. Now he's wrestling Cody Rhodes. Well, let's just see how Cody Rhodes does, right? And then you see that Cody Rhodes sucks and he's a jobber, right? But then you notice, whoa, who's this young lady? Who's this broad named Jade Cargill? Wow, look at that. Something came out of this, right? So why would WWE even need NXT at this point, right? Why would you care to see if Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes can push themselves to their limits when you have Chris Jericho wrestling, I don't know, let's say Wheeler Yuta, right? Let's say he wrestles Wheeler Yuta. Vince McMahon's like, wow, Chris Jericho wrestled a really good match against Wheeler Yuta. Maybe we give Wheeler Yuta a chance, right? You see what I'm saying? The risk is much lower, right? So a great example would be Brian Pillman Jr., right? Lexus King, I think his name is, or is it Lexus Knight? I don't know. I think it's Lexus King, whatever. You take Lexus, you take Brian Pillman Jr., and you don't need to sign him and then put him in developmental and have whoever's there, I don't know, Road Dogg or whoever's there, teach him how to have a personality, right? You don't need to think hard about what you're going to do with him, right? Because he has some legitimate experience, right? You're like, whoa, kid, you're Brian Pillman's son, and I saw you could put out some good matches against, Billy Gunn, let's say, right? We know Billy Gunn, especially, let's say it's Road Dogg. He's like, I know Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn says good things about you, right? So I'm going to give you a shot, kid. I'm not going to make you go in the breakout tournament thing, right? I'm going to just put you on TV immediately, right? That's the positive, right? You get someone that's fully trained, fully exposed, who has performed in front of thousands of people. Jade Cargill, Alexis King, etc. Right? The list goes on. Cody Rhodes, etc. Right? Now, with that being said, what does that leave AEW in? I mean, they're essentially the de facto territory of WWE. They essentially belong to WWE, right? WWE has the economic grounds and the capacity to just go to AEW and take whomever they please. Oh, but Hater, the other Khan, like the elderly Khan, the father of Tony Khan, is richer than Vince McMahon. So what? He's richer by doing other things. He doesn't know anything about wrestling. If you told both of them to start a company today, right? Who knows who would be more successful? Khan, whatever, Shahid Khan, whatever. He made his money on like bumpers and like cars, right? Not to say it's not impressive. He's a multi-billionaire. Of course, it's impressive, right? But he didn't make his money entertaining people. He didn't make his money doing something that if you had told someone 100 years ago, they would laugh at your face, right? So he definitely doesn't understand, and Tony Khan definitely doesn't understand wrestling at all, right? And the money that the company has, you can go take a business law class. The money that the company has is not the same thing as the money that the owner has, right? They are two separate accounts that you actually cannot legally intermingle, because if you do, you can get sued. And what happens is something called piercing the corporate veil. Look it up, cuckolds. I know what I'm talking about, right? So the money of the company, now of course, Khan can fuel the company with more money, and he probably is. But the truth is, it doesn't matter at all, right? Because at the end of the day, Jade Cargill is going to make more money in WWE. She's going to get more exposure in WWE. Everything's going to be better for her in WWE. And with that being said, AEW is left now in a position where they don't have anybody that has loyalty, except for the Young Bucks and, King Omega. But let's be real. The ball has already rolled away from that, right? King Omega is now basically a mid-carder, even in AEW. Like, nobody cares about him. MJF, he didn't grow up wanting to wrestle for AEW. He grew up wanting to be in WWE. He's hoping they come. And they will. I mean, they'll come. I mean, they're coming after, everybody now. I mean, Sami Zayn has a job. So, of course, MJF is going to get a job. But will he get, the money that he thinks he deserves? Probably not. They're probably going to give him, $130K, or if he's lucky, they're going to be like, look, kid, just because you beat, Jungle Boy over there, it doesn't matter, right? Jungle Boy's another one that's going to come over eventually, right? There's going to be a bunch of people, NXT is going to look like AEW in 5 years, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, what is AEW's role at this point, right? They become yet another TNA. They're just there to exist. They don't add anything to anything. And the fact of the matter is, all their best wrestlers, right? Now, it's not me saying this because, insofar as anyone that there to be assigned from AEW, which would be Lexis King, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Jade Cargill, the order that I put them in is as follows. Jade Cargill is obviously number 1. Lexis King is number 2. Cody Rhodes is number 3. And CM Punk is number 4. Ironically, I understand that most people would have it inverted. But I think most people are wrong, because it's not about who's the most over yesterday. It's about who is going to continue to grow in this company. CM Punk is a problem. He's a headache. Cody Rhodes, he's boring already. I'm already over it. Lexis King, he could become somebody. Jade Cargill will become somebody, right? So they're not signing everybody from AEW, but who are they signing, right? They're signing either the people that everyone kind of agrees are the standouts. Jade Cargill, Cody Rhodes, right? They're signing back people that AEW signed, like CM Punk, in order to seem competitive, right? They took CM Punk back, right? Because it's he's not in AEW, he's here now, In case there's 5 fans that watch AEW because of CM Punk, they're not going to watch WWE again, right? So there's that. Then there's more. It ain't over, there's more. And that is this, the young guys. Everybody that knows anything knew that Brian Pillman Jr. had a future in WWE. I said it first. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, of course they signed him. And they're going to sign other ones. They're going to, I'll tell you right now who they're going to sign. Darby Allin is going to get a chance, right? For sure. Jungle Boy is going to get a chance. Powerhouse Hobbs, I don't know how old he is, but I think he's old enough. He's going to get a chance. Hook is going to get a chance. Let's see. That's MJF is going to get a chance. Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, if they want to, they can go there. Adam Page, same thing. If he wants to, he can go there. But I believe that's about it. I'm sure I'm missing someone here or there. Like, Sammy Guevara. I don't like him, but he is going to get a chance. A lot of people just are not going to make it. And with that being said, who cares about any of this? The fact of the matter is, cuckolds, that, let's be real, AEW, it's done. They're just like, CM Punk is the final nail in the coffin in the sense that it's like the ultimate indignity, right? He just leaves them to go back to WWE. So, like, he just took their money. There was no payoff, and that was it, right? Tony Khan blew him publicly on those stupid little press conferences being like, oh, he's made an impact. And now he's going to make an impact somewhere else. So with that being said, Cucks, take care of yourselves.